out. So we'll see.
Hello, EVE Vegas. Come on in, get set down. This is gonna start right here, right now.
I can see that sound effect changing real fast.
Of EVE Online, and today
But I love you guys.
we're gonna
Thanks.
take you through all the latest updates we have on EVE Online, focusing on the EVE Online Ascension expansion. All right, it's really fantastic to be here in Las Vegas again, and really, really good to see all of you here. And especially since you are here in the room, here at EVE Vegas,
First of all, I want to say that CCP Ziegel has grown so much as a public speaker since the first time she came on stage to the EVE community. Like, she has really learned how to speak to the EVE community in a cool way, and that's been actually kind of fun to watch that development. Anyway.
I want to encourage all of you to come and talk to me and all the other developers who are here at EVE Vegas. That's why we come here. We want to talk to you. We want to hear from you what you think about EVE, where it's going, what we're doing with it. Give us your feedback. Take the chance now that we are here and just come and talk to us. And for those of you who are watching on the stream, hello to you as well. We're really happy that we can provide a full stream out of EVE Vegas this year. And I really hope you enjoy this show. So, it is... Oh, can you actually see me now? Hi! So, it is Halloween. And in the game right now, we have Crimson Harvest going on. And I believe that our very own Galactic News Network has captured some ominous footage.
All right, got it fixed now. Won't make the sound anymore. Thanks for the follows.
Of all recent Blood Raider attacks, none has gathered more attention than the one on the classified clone research station Alpha 49B. The scope has acquired these fragments of footage from an investigative report carried out by the Republic fleet. Little is known about the capital ship site.
Actually, I'll wait till after.
Escorting the Mauler, other than the call sign of the Dreadnought Kamish, and a new class of Force Auxiliary which seems to have been labeled as the Dagon. This incident is just one of many that have caused rumors and speculations to spread across New Eden in these uncertain times when all the major powers are preparing for the expected influx of Alpha tide of new recruits that will undoubtedly tip the current balance of power. This is Lena Amber, reporting for the Scope.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Scope video. Sorry for interrupting it in the middle of it. I should have just let it go all the way through. So, first of all, it was really good. It shows an advancement in the development of the Scope videos, both in like technical feasibility, like it had better effects. There were some landscapes that we've never really seen before. It's a higher quality video than like a Scope video that we would get in a weekly Scope video. So it rivals the one that we got for like the Amar championship. The second thing about it was that it really dug into the lore a little bit deeper than I think that they have in the past. They tried to get some information in there with like the little readouts and all that stuff. Although I think one of the readouts is wrong. I heard. I'd have to go back and watch it again to make sure. But yeah, there's like showing the really up close Brutor logo, which is Brutor the one for the mining group? Did the Brutor own the mining corporation that might be. If that's the truth, then that makes sense because that ties into the NPC parties. Anyway, if so, that's clever. If not, whatever. The thing I don't like about it was, God damn it, the main Blood Raider guy's his speech. His speech, I think, was really poor because I think that there's enough entities and bad guys already with the Sancha and the Drifters and to a lesser extent the Sleepers and to a lesser extent the Jove that are all about like bringing people into a hive mind. And so those allusions to bring you one into me, like I really would have liked to have seen more of the flavor of Blood Raiders in the fact that they use the blood to purify themselves to earn their right into sanctity or whatever. So you shall be my path, or I don't know. I'm sure there could be Blood Raider people. Like, Blood Raider people are almost as obsessed about being a Blood Raider as Amar people are about being Amar. So I don't want to say anything wrong to them, and they'll potentially correct me. But any rate, I just feel that message didn't really resonate with what I know about the Blood Raiders. Yeah, I'm Omar of the Borg. It didn't feel right for me. They don't really care about bringing you into them. So let's see, anything else about it? No, that's about it. I think that's good. It was a really nicely well put together Scope video overall.
We are standing here just before a turning point in the history of EVE Online. For 13 years, you have had to have a subscription to be part.
That wasn't me. There's several audio errors during this.
All of that changes on November 15th, just 2 weeks from now. The Ascension expansion is the beginning of a new era for EVE Online. And this expansion brings an amazing set of new features to EVE, but the most dramatic change is, of course, the introduction of 2 clone states. The Omega state, which is exactly like today's subscription-based access to EVE Online, and the Alpha state that lets anyone play EVE Online and be part of this whole EVE universe and community that we have for free. And this here is just a high-level overview of all the things that are coming to EVE with Ascension. And today, we will go over all the latest news on these features, and we'll also talk about some of the stuff that we'll be showing you for the first time today.
So this is the anchor point. This is the first anchor point in the presentation, where she's really establishing what this presentation is going to be about, and and that thing is all of the different pieces of Ascension. One of the weakest things about Ascension, or one of the probably the trickiest, the stickiest points about Ascension, is that you need you need it to be loud, right? Because the way free-to-play works is it's no longer about convincing somebody necessarily about the quality is enough to buy it. I know that sounds really weird, but like when you shift from a subscription model to free-to-play, you change the question. You know, like in before going free-to-play, the question is, are you willing to pay $20 a month to play this game, or $15 a month to play this game? Sorry. Now it's become, why aren't you playing this game? Because it's free, right? So we've always accused all these things about being barriers to entry for EVE, the learning curve, mean people, the depth of the game, and how hard it is to figure out how to do anything. And those are all problems that they're fixing, or trying to fix. They're trying to make it so that, you know, we can keep the depth of the game, we can keep the amount of interesting things there are in the game and things to know and do, but make it so that the path towards learning is a more enjoyable one and a more logical one, so that more people can find that path and take it. And also give people things to do to distract them while they're going through the process of learning, right? Because just here, read all these books and watch these videos and listen to these lectures, and then you will learn EVE Online. But now you can actually go into HiSec, right? I could create a HiSec corporation and train dudes in stuff. And like, let's say we get a war deck. I can actually practice with them with these new NPC PvE rats, right? I can, you know, obviously there's probably going to be some differences, but at least it's something, right? You're adding links in the chain to get people from point A to point B, and that's what all of this is about. All right, sorry, I'm going to keep going now.
I want now to bring to the stage some of the amazing members of the EVE Online team who are here to tell you what Ascension brings. And after that, I will come back with even more news and updates. So first, let's hear some more about clone states, and especially the alpha clones. So please welcome to the stage CCP Rise.
So before we watch this speech, it's really important to watch this speech with understanding who Rise is talking to here, right? This audience is people who have flown, driven, or otherwise, you know, whatever, and bought a ticket to go to their internet spaceship convention in Vegas for a weekend. And people who are interested in enough to watch the live stream, pay attention to it, know what's going on, and be watching it, which is so it's a very fine subsect of people. Admittedly, it includes people who have subbed into the game before and still kind of pay attention, but have quit, especially, let's say, ex-Imperium members who have quit after that sort of stuff, or other people who have quit from the burning fires of Phoebe and Aegis. You know, and so, but at any rate, they're not talking to outsiders. He is talking to Omega players and also to people who might want to come back if there's an alpha, right? He's not talking to people who are not experienced in the game. These are not the unlimited trial people.
Hello, everyone. All right, I'm CCP Rise. I'm a game designer. I've worked on a lot of stuff. I once, though, made the Balance Legion, and so now I don't do balance stuff much, and I'm working on...
That's amazing, by the way, that he would say that.
Instead, for the last while. So during the time we've been working on clone states, we've talked a ton with you guys. Vegas. We've talked a lot with the CSM, we've written a million dev blogs, and most of the time what we've been communicating so far has been focused on making sure everybody feels okay about this. It's been about making sure that their feature was in the best place possible. But now, since we've worked through a lot of that, I want to talk more about why we like clone states and why we think being an alpha is going to be super fun. So, one of the most important requirements for us as we worked on a free version of EVE was that all players, whether subscribed or not, scary, should have a genuine EVE experience. EVE's special because it's this awesome shared universe, and we want free players to be just as much a part of that as anyone. Some early designs that we had didn't really meet that requirement, but as we moved towards clone states, we saw more and more potential. And one way we looked to see if we had that potential, just one example, is looking at past events in EVE and seeing how alphas might do. So, for instance, looking at the Battle of M-O from last spring, which had, yeah, good, it's pretty awesome, it's good. Had almost 6,000 ships total participating, which is a ton. And in that battle, these ships were all there. Of all the total ships fielded, there was 200 Tech 1 cruisers, 400 Tech 1 destroyers, 400 Tech 1 frigates, which means that even though there wasn't such a thing as an alpha player, alphas could have been making up 20% of the fight. So, that's encouraging. Alphas can play a real role here. All right, so we see good signals when we look back and try and imagine alphas being part of events that have actually happened in EVE. But I wanted to come and talk to you guys about how being an alpha was going to be great, but I realized in a way we were still just leaning on these sort of predictions about what might happen based on what had happened in the past. And that felt not good enough. One of the quirks for us working on EVE is that we just have TQs, so testing stuff, these big system changes like clone states, is really hard. It's really, really tough for us to do. But I saw an opportunity here, and so I asked and got permission to do something a bit unusual. And so let me introduce Vegas Alpha. This is me, a brand new character that I created on Tranquility 3 weeks ago. Here he is just out of the box, 400,000 skill points, no ISK at all. And my hope was that by using him, I could find out firsthand whether or not I could survive, make money, fight, and thrive as an alpha on TQ as it is now. So I set some basic rules. I get all the alpha skills, but I don't get any money at all, and I don't accept any donations or help outside of just some injectors for myself to get the skills in quick so I could talk to you guys about it by Vegas. And then from there, I just do the best I can to make my way in EVE. Of course, winning means something different for everyone in EVE, but I settled on a perfectly reasonable goal of just solo killing a Sweeple by the time EVE Vegas happened. All right, so here I am after putting the skill set in. Hopefully most of you guys are familiar by now. It's support skills and ship command for cruisers, destroyers, and frigates, and some other necessary support market stuff, etc. A lot happened in my 3 weeks as an alpha, but I have time here to share just one short story with you, but I think it's a good example of showing what can happen for these characters. To tell the story, though, I need to start by talking about a spaceship, because this is a spaceship game. This is a Thorax, an iconic, awesome, badass, phallic, Valente attack cruiser.
So this goes back to knowing the audience. He doesn't only have experienced players, but he's got rabid new players that he is addressing, and also potentially alphas. So if you notice, every concept that he discusses, he introduces very carefully.
Just in case you're new, cruisers are medium-sized ships that have a lot of flexibility. Attack variations like this one are a little faster. They pack a good punch for their size. But for alphas, these are the biggest ships that they can fly in the alpha set, which works out great because they're one of the most popular ship classes in the game already. This is my Thorax. It sports a structure tank, of course, along with a lot of tackle in the mids because I need to be able to keep Sweeples from moving at all because of their tiny, tiny sig. And it has a rack of the biggest blasters I can fit. Even though I was a big part of setting up the set of allowed skills for alphas, I was actually really surprised and excited by how good your fitting options as an alpha are. Most of your low slots are still going to be Tech 2. In this case, the bulkheads, the mag stabs, and the damage control are all Tech 2. And then the mid slots are just meta, which is normal anyway. You're going compact to make more fitting room for blasters. And the blasters are really the only thing that takes a hit. You just go best meta with those, which is a little less damage than a fully skilled character, but it's fine. You get faction ammo, you do good damage. All right, so we have a ship. Where do we go? Well, anywhere. I did some stuff in high sec. I did some stuff in low sec, even though I mostly died there. I stumbled into wormholes a few times. But my heart is in nullsec, so that's where this story takes place, and that's where I spent most of my time. Now, this may seem straightforward that, and of course, an alpha can go anywhere, but it's actually a really big deal for us. When you think of free versions of MMOs, especially if the character advancement is limited at all for free characters, you just assume that some content is out of reach as well. I mean, level 20s can't go on raids, right? But alphas can go anywhere, which is really good.
So this is what I've meant in the past earlier when I was talking about them needing to put out a marketing package. This is part of that. What are the bullet points that arm the people who are talking about EVE with the bullet points that they need, including, you know, there's going to be reporters that just watched this keynote and are picking out these different pieces. And so the fact that that's important is actually a really big deal, because it is nestled in it the selling point, right? Which is that alphas can do anything. Alphas can go anywhere, which is a huge selling point in the free-to-play world. Because this is the thing. People are going to ask two questions. What can't I do? And is it still fun? Because those are the biggest questions about whether or not somebody wants to commit to something on a free-to-play level. So they need to arm players with the answers of yes and why. And that's what this is all about.
So there I am, wandering around in 0-0 in cache to be specific, headed out to some weird system in Spire for some reason. And Spire's a really funny region for that guy. So, all right, I happened upon a Myrmidon. And if you aren't familiar, just in case, a Myrmidon is a Galente battlecruiser, so same faction as me, but of course much bigger.
Again, basic introduction.
Anything, but it's not really a smart engagement for a thorax typically.
No technical details, just overall thought about the concept.
And this is something I really love about EVE, is that that matters. So usually when you come across someone solo in 0-0, they either, you know, immediately jump on you like a horrible predator or something, or they run away like as fast as they can, like they're scared of everything in the world and just want to stay safe. So this guy didn't do either one. He sort of traveled alongside me, and like he worked the same places but didn't really attack me. Nature, maybe I'd worry he had an illness or something. I wasn't really sure. In EVE, most likely it just means he's bait of some kind, but whatever. I can't resist, and so I just took the engagement because that's what I know how to do. So here is a video of that engagement. And this is after I've jumped a gate with him, and so he's still cloaked, I'm just reapproaching. Let me tell you guys, you're about to be treated to some of the worst module management you've ever seen in your life. Of course, so he's just uncloaked. Watch as I completely missed to lock him, but start approaching, and he can warp away no problem, even though he's bigger than me. Thankfully, I realized it like 20 seconds later and lock him up.
At this moment, I remember why I missed the Kill 2 videos.
And now I decided to shoot his Berserker 1s for some reason. I don't know why. But I do have him tackled. I do have guns active on him, and so now we're really in the thick of it here. And I continue to be really confused. One thing I have to say about this experience, I haven't had to worry about ISK and EVE for 10 years, and it's terrifying. Like, I had shakes so bad for almost everything that happened on this character. So you can see here now I have one blaster active on one drone, drones active on another drone, one other rack of blasters on his ship. My webs are split. It's really a complete disaster, but I believe. Thank you. So I killed a drone. It doesn't matter. He has more, so that was a complete waste of time. But remember, I'm structure tanked, and for some reason, his damage really isn't that great. And look at his armor. I was like, hey, his armor's going away really fast. So, yeah, they are T2 bulkheads. So this isn't a question session, by the way, but. So this is getting pretty close, but his damage is really quite poor. He only has 3 drones out now for some reason. I guess I killed 1 more. And I'm not overheating my guns. I don't know why. He's repping a little bit, but I have quite a bit of structure left, and I got him.
I cannot believe Rise named and shamed. That is insane. Oh man.
It's a pretty good fit. So he's a bit of a newer player.
If that's not the ALOD, if they don't bring back ALOD on Imperium.news for that, I'm gonna be sorely disappointed in them.
So I felt, slightly guilty, but mostly proud of myself. And I don't know what was in it. Don't worry about it. Okay, chill. So the point here, guys, is that alphas can really do cool stuff in here and have fun. Isn't that really good? All right. All right, to wind down from that real high there for a second, let's talk a bit about mining. I thought you might like to know a bit also about making money as an alpha. There's good options there, but I wanted to try them all, get a range of things. Thought you might want to know how I paid for my thoraxes. So this is a shot of me in low sec mining an adventure, which I lost to an NPC because I'm really quite bad at this game. But the good news is this is possible. You can make money doing this. It's not going to get you rich, but it's solid. What I really found was great, though, was exploration. In my opinion, it's perfect for alphas. It rewards knowledge and risk-taking instead of having tons of skill points. And I think it'll be especially good for returning players. If they come back as alphas, they might have allies in 0-0 or in wormholes they can use to support them, and they'll know a lot about the game, so they can run sites and make good money. For me, I had a ton of fun doing this. I spent time roaming in 0-0 and had a bunch of weird situations pop up, and made enough to pay for, I think I lost something like 35 ships in 3 weeks, which I'm very proud of, but I was able to pay for it just, solo exploring in an Imicus, which you can see here. It's a beautiful ship. I was able to fit it for under $1 million ISK and get out to 0-0 and make good cash. Of course, all the factions have an option here to do this kind of exploration.
So really what he's doing here is he's targeting myths about the alpha clones and dispelling them. So he comments about the fitting space. He comments about the ability to fit T2 stuff. It's all about being combative and all that stuff, which we knew that overarching question had to be answered. But some of the nuances is very interesting. In particular, like I said, talking about the T2 fitting, but also how to make money and how many options there were, right? So he goes, because what's funny is the let's talk about mining was the bait, right? Because when he says let's talk about mining, he knows that people's reaction are going to go, But then he goes, actually, it was fun. I got killed, which is kind of interesting, right? Something exciting happens. It lets him tell him a joke. But it also lets him segue into the other things that can be done as an alpha clone just fine. For instance, exploration. So he's combating that myth that, an alpha clone person will just have to mine or will be a venture slave or something like that. That there are, in fact, actually better ways of dealing with the alpha clone problem by playing actively.
There's room to upgrade eventually. I could have gotten a faction probe launcher or whatever, but this was perfectly sufficient. So that's all the time I've got for today, but I hope you like hearing a little bit about Vegas Alpha. It was pretty awesome for me.
So Sir6 says, I set up an account for my 15-year-old, taught him how to scan, and this week alone he made almost 1 billion. Dude, I'm telling you, like when I was in college, I would just, on my lunchtime, I would just scan down sites. This was back when sites still had rats for like even data and Relic sites, so I wasn't even able to really do them. I would just scan down different sites just to practice scanning. And of course, if I, if it was now, then, or whatever, if I was back in college at lunch or whatever, I absolutely would have run them and made buku isk. Yeah, no, it's not hard to do it with alpha skills, especially when you get to a certain point where the nice thing is that without having to pay Plex, alpha clones don't have to pay out, which means all of the ISK that they gain, they just gain. So, if you go out on a million ISK Imicus, very, very quickly you can fit an Astero, and then you can start doing cooler stuff, maybe. That and core scanner, sister core scanner probes makes such a good first step into like blinging out your stuff. It basically makes your ship a lot more expensive, but not like in the grand scheme of things. And it increases, like, it's an small investment that is the same as a larger investment later on. Anyway, sorry, carrying on.
For me to have actual first-hand experience for this feature, which is going to TQ soon, means you guys can come and talk to me about how it went if you want. And I also have a bunch more stories, some more videos, and some more embarrassing stuff I can share with you tomorrow during my talk. So come to that if you want to hear more about Vegas Alpha. Next up, I've got CCP Ghost, who, as usual, is going to talk about your brain.
CCP Ghost is a very interesting guy, and he made a lot of news when he showed up last time, and he hasn't actually really shown up ever since. Like, we heard him talk, we got some of the stuff from the summit, but like we haven't seen blogs from him. He hasn't posted on forums. He's not putting out he's not tweeting. He's one of the off-grid people, which is fine. But here he is again for a second time giving a speech, and so I think he's a very interesting character, and I would really like to know more about him, which is why I'm excited. I'm going to plug it right now. Random McNally was just talking about the fact that he's going to try to have him pin him down to go sit down and talk with him, and I am intensely excited. I wanted to say that I was jealous, but I'm not even jealous, man. I'm so excited to hear what he would say and what you guys are going to do with it, because I know both you and Finn are both there, I'm pretty sure, right? So you'll knock it out of the park, and I'm excited to hear it. All right, on to the show.
Greetings, Las Vegas Capsuleers. I am Aura 2.0. CCP has made me self-aware so that I can efficiently bring you skilled comrades for the everlasting adventure that is EVE Online. My core logic library indicates that for EVE Vegas, adequate hydration has been provided to increase the odds of survival by several orders of magnitude. But I am only capable of advising you. You must make decisions for yourself.
I mean, first of all, like, you gotta respect that that's his introduction, right? Like, because in a one way, it's a weird, like, half joke, but on the other way, he's become the father of Aura. Like, Aura is his creation now, and he really kind of took ownership of it by having it be his introduction. He changed Aura. This new face of Aura is associated with him now, which is a very interesting choice. Hopefully it was intentional. Also, somebody pointed out that alphas cannot actually fly the Astero. Of course they can't. That's a pirate ship. But they can fly the Sister's Core scanner probes and the Sister probes, which is what I was talking about. And now I can be corrected in real time and not like just have the podcast come up and then never live down the fact that Pasas and Pocos are the same thing, apparently. Moving right along.
Greetings. So when I was coming up here, Aura stopped me. She was very adamant about addressing you guys, and for some reason she's very concerned about how much you guys drink. But it is an honor to meet you guys. I've never been here to EVE Vegas before, and what a crowd. Thank you. I want to start by saying that it has been an absolute pleasure to work with all of you guys on building the first phase of the new player experience, which we are calling Inception. Over the last 6 months or so, you guys have warmly welcomed me, and I've had a lot of, to say the least, interesting conversations with you guys through Reddit, email, FanFest in Iceland, the CSM, and other places. And the conclusion to that is something that I am hopeful will massively improve the guidance and initial experience for your new player friends. Now, as you could hear from our new Aura, she has great concerns for your well-being, and she also has great concerns for your new player friends' well-being, because she will be a key comrade in helping them getting into the insanity that is EVE Online. But I don't have to paint you a word picture this time. I can actually just show you what we have done, and I'm going to show you a video clip of how we will deal with guiding new players through their first combat. So let's check that out.
Very eager to add you to their trophy cabinet. Looks like you have to... Oh, wait. Okay. You'll have to pause that, recruit. You're about to get a chance to prove you have a place with us, defending the tribes. You have a Drifter Seeker on grid, just dropped out of warp, and you need to take it out. Aura, our recruit needs a crash course on gunnery. They're no use to me dead. Captain, I need you to remain calm. You are flying a Corvette fitted with a civilian-class weapon system and a civilian afterburner for rapid maneuvering. This gives you a significant chance of success when pitted against a single Seeker. Just like with the generator, locate the Circadian Seeker on your overview and select Approach from the radial menu. To lock your weapon system on the Seeker, hold down your left mouse button on it and select Lock Target from the radial menu. Please move to engage the Circadian Seeker now. Move your mouse over the Seeker and hold down the left mouse button to open the radial menu. Then select the Orbit command. Now it's time to engage your weapons, Captain. Don't forget to stop your ship. For a rookie, you're quite a surprise. Your first kill. This is the kind of combat experience the Republic needs you to have if you want to keep the tribe safe. Alright, on to the backup warp disrupt. Oh, what? Wait! The Drifters are very serious about getting hold of you, recruit. Another Seeker just walked in. Probably part of their search for survivors. You just got a chance to double your kill count. Show it what happens to those who attack the Minmatar people. Captain, let's see what you have learned. Can you take out the second Seeker with minimal instruction? First, approach the Seeker. Now you should lock targets on it. Don't forget to orbit. It's time to engage. Fire your weapons. When you have defeated the Seeker, you should stop your ship. Explore the Seeker wrecks to see if they left anything behind. Move your mouse over the wreckage and hold down the left mouse button. A radial menu will appear. Select Open Cargo to view the contents and then click the Loot All button. Remember to get close.
Okay, so a few things. First of all, yeah, I don't know what the heck was with that idiot that was screaming out stuff. I guess he was really, really drunk. Vegas does that to people. Remember, this is like day 3 for a lot of people that are part of EVE Vegas. So, yeah. Apparently, I guess Max Singularity, I'm assuming, has anointed CCP Guard. So, congratulations to CCP Guard for becoming the chosen one. Maybe you shall unite the force. Hard to say. Or bring balance to the force, rather. Good luck. And let's see, was the changes to the Orca discussed? The Orca just wasn't really discussed today. It was mentioned in passing that it was getting a buff, but again, today is all about flash and quick bullet points. The major news outlets are going to watch this, and that's it. And so, or for many of them, so this is where you needed to basically compact the message. So the fact that they will be better is sufficient for a keynote. Anyway, so let's talk about the tutorial that was just shown. The tutorial that was just shown, the piece of it that was shown, was specifically designed to prove one point, which is that they are going to do a much better job at teaching people through more sophisticated training techniques. The philosophy of, show, what is it? I think it's tell, show, do, whatever, or in the military we call it crawl, walk, run, where we talk you through something and then we do it slowly and then we do it in full time, right? And so you see that kind of philosophy happening here, where it's like, okay, I'm going to give you all these different cues and helpful tidbits so that it's really difficult to fail, and then that way when I ask you to do it the second time, you actually know what you're doing, which is a big problem in the current thing, giving you just an image. If I give you a picture of something, I mean, it could be on the neocom, it could be on the overview, it could be in the selected item, and yeah, it says it there, but trust me, every single person I've ever introduced to the game, if you just say, okay, now click on your overview, blah, within the first 5 minutes of talking to them, even if you've said this is your overview in the past, earlier in this conversation, if you just say in your overview this button, or click on the Stargate in your overview, there's a pretty decent chance that they won't know which of the things that you've introduced them to the overview is, because they're being introduced to so many different things. So the idea of the pointers and the big bright things, really, really solid, and they're showing that. They're basically showing you the part of the MPE that's worth watching for you. And it also leaves the whole exciting end part totally secret if you don't watch stuff on Singularity and whatnot, which is good. That's, I mean, again, exactly what you want from the keynote.
Thank you. Based on the immersion that we got from the front row, I think we're in a good state. So what I just showed you is an example of how we aim to gradually help new players master elements of gameplay through a powerful Aura Quad guidance system of voice, images, highlighting, and text. The steps in that.
So in case you didn't notice what was so awesome about that video, I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to explain to you after the fact why I showed you it.
That particular sequence, for example, in the first you take out a generator to test your weapon system. That happened before the video clipped in. That happens in a no-pressure environment where you get to test out the system.
He also puts the video into context.
That's where we cue the video. And then you get a powerful guidance on using the system that you just learned to handle. And then you get a second combat where we scale back on the guidance, so you get to demonstrate to Aura what you have just learned. The Aura guidance system is already testing well, and we have high hopes that we have managed to lower the entry barrier to the game considerably. At least our goal is...
So remember, at this point, he is not talking to new players. He's not trying to sell people that the new players are on the new player experience, that it might be a fun thing to do or something like that. What he's doing is he is offering us confidence that CCP is taking care of the new player problem that allows us to get into the fixing the problem of giving those new players content once they get trained up, right? So he is talking to us more like a shareholders meeting than a showcasing a new product, right? So it's not like Rise, where it was really flashy and wanting to get you to want to do it. He's more explaining to you why it's going to be good for you by helping other people.
That now your new player friends should be able to start playing EVE Online, and for the first couple of hours they don't have to call you guys or Google to get to the experience and enjoy it. But you may also have noticed another character in there. That was Fleet Commander Ina Vadari, which is your Empire mentor if you choose to play the Minmatar. And because we have also chosen to build a story for the new players to navigate through while they're getting the basic hang of the game. So some of you may be asking, why a story? Well, this is a picture of your brain. And your brain, like most other brains, is optimized to store information through stories.
In case you didn't get that joke, at FanFest when we were introduced to Ghost, he started out by showing us a picture of his brain, and he's got this thing where like the vessels on the outside of the brain aren't there, like it just aren't there. He talked about that and how it made him different and how it made him get into psychology and all that stuff. So that reference kicked back to that.
The reason for that is that it is the main function of your brain to teach stories and to create stories. Imagine for a moment how your life would be if you could not perform that function. So let's say now that I get the impulse of jumping off the stage and punching one of you in the face. So, let's say I get Aura up in my head and she's like, Ghost, you should jump off the stage and punch the big red boat in the face.
Simultaneously reasserting his connection with Aura and
I need to assess
really connecting with the audience.
The quality of this idea. So I create a story in my brain and I play through it. I visualize myself jumping off the stage, finding the big red boat, and punching him in the face. And then he stands up and he's like, Ghost, what the hell? And he punches me back and he knocks out a couple of my front teeth, and I have to fly back to Iceland and tell my wife why I look like a pirate after a weekend in Vegas.
That's not the real story.
So I get to assess that is probably not a good idea. And so I live to see another day with all of my teeth. This is what the brain does all the time. He is optimized to do this. He's optimized to use stories this way, and the most powerful part of our brain deals with information through creating and processing stories. We simply remember things better through stories. And thus, when faced with the magnum task of helping players into the steps of learning and enjoying EVE, we decided for the initial step to build a story. And so, in Inception, you wake up in the midst of the ruins of your Empire fleet, and you're trying to get to grips with what just happened. Enter a Empire VIP fleet commander who was sent to clean up this mess. He or she meets you as the sole survivor and enlists you to his or her command to try to solve this mystery and hopefully eventually achieve retribution. And as some of you guys may have figured out, we are dealing with a drifter threat here. So we fling the new players into an exciting new storyline, which they get to experience on their own, and we add some powerful guidance to help them get a fix on this new world. What does this mean for you? Well, hopefully it means that you can now call your friends and simply tell them that there's an experience that you can try in EVE Online that has a very powerful tutorial system built into it. And once you're done playing, you should have enjoyed your own story, but you should also have gotten the hang of one of the most awesome games ever built. Not only
literally wraps up the presentation, or this section of the presentation, by literally telling you what to say to your friend. Like, that's what this whole part of the alpha clone and everything has all been about. Is about packaging up this narrative and handing it to us to work with. And that right there, that speech, is the speech that people will use. You know, it's just like a political talking point that's being given out by the party or something like that.
that, but you can choose what type of personality accompanies you through this new experience. So at the end of the experience, your new player friends should have picked up quite the skill set for entering the game in greater depth. But this is just the beginning. Inception is simply phase one of a very ambitious overhaul we have planned for the MP, and the main aim for this phase was to get players through the first couple of hours enjoyably and give them the foundational knowledge of the game.
Shorthand, they're replacing the career agents later.
Me in either the presentation that I have on Sunday, where we'll go deeper into phase one and what's that about, or the round table that will be following it. And we can have discussions on both phase one and where we're taking things. And I highly encourage you to do this because it has been through conversations with you guys. Based on that is where we've landed the Inception. And this is to a great extent what you guys asked for. So go and tell your friends that as of November 15th, they can play EVE Online for free. And they can hopefully start enjoying the experience from minute one, gaining their initial confidence
reaffirm the
in
message.
through their own story. That's it for me. You've been fantastic. I really enjoyed the immersion with the video. And the big red boat, please don't try to punch me after this. That was just an example. But please welcome to the stage the very talented, the very handsome CCP Fozzy.
Once again, CCP Ghost shows that he's a really good presenter. Rise is a really good entertainer. Like, I mean, he did a great job. I'm not saying but both features, you can tell that both presentations were very, very different. And Ghost's presentation was way more structured, and you can tell that he, kind of knew where he was going at any given time. His jokes were kind of pre-assumed, I think, too.
Hello, Vegas. I'm CCP Fozzy. I'm one of the game designers on EVE Online, and I'm going to talk to you about some more of the things we have coming for EVE Ascension. Now, 6 months ago, UCapsuleers started deploying the first Citadels. Some of them were small Astrohuses deployed by small corporations, and all the way up to immense keep stars like Fort Knox over here. There you go, we got some hard knocks people. It's been amazing to watch what you players have done when given some more tools to manipulate the sandbox, shape it to the way you want to see it. Since then, we've been working hard both on adding new features to Citadels and also on preparing to release the second line of Upwell structures for New Eden. Engineering complexes are coming in Ascension, and with them a whole new set of opportunities for industrialists and their friends. These structures are built from the ground up for manufacturing and research, providing strong bonuses to the speed and cost of industry jobs. They share many of the same mechanics with Citadels, such as deployment, reinforcement, access control, tethering, docking, personal storage. However, where Citadels are optimized for defense, the engineering complexes are optimized for maximum industrial output. And like Citadels, engineering complexes come in 3 sizes. The Rideroo medium Citadel is named after the missile technology innovator that paved the way for the independent capsuleer researchers.
A couple things about these, about the Citadel or the engineering complexes is that, again, they're targeting the exact problems that they have with the imaging of these issues. So it's actually, a lot of players have had a lot of difficulty conceptualizing the engineering complexes in relationship to Citadels. They call engineering complexes a type of Citadel, like I accidentally just did, or they don't really understand where the capabilities are the same, or how they, or even where they're different, or how it's all going to work out. So this helps kind of really package up finally, sort of like what the devlog does, a little bit, the whole thing. The other thing I really appreciate about these Citadels, or god damn it, the other thing I appreciate about these engineering complexes is that he talks about the names of them and why they're meaningful. And this goes back to the idea that the more you can reward knowledge of the lore, and even the more that you can seed knowledge of the lore and kind of bring flavor to little things and give hints to the deeper backstory in just day-to-day life, I think that that's really good. And not everybody's going to appreciate it, but it will get some people to appreciate what's going on a little bit more.
and it's the most affordable upwell structure ever released, costing 40% less than an Asterhus Citadel. It's going to make a perfect home for small industrial corporations or bold solo industrialists. The Asbel large engineering complex is named after the inventor of faster-than-light communication in New Eden, and it allows greater generalization and the construction of capital ships. And I just have to say, the art team has really hit it out of the park with these new structures. I highly recommend heading out to Sissy, checking them out in action, flying around them. The detail is spectacular up close. And named after...
It was at that moment that I realized that I need to do like a flyby on all of them and make a video out of that. So expect that soon. Hopefully. If you don't get it soon, bug me.
One of the co-inventors of the Calorie Warp Drive, the Sodio Extra Large Engineering Complex is the ultimate industrial hub. It's capable of the fastest manufacturing and research times in New Eden, as well as constructing enormous supercapital ships. I want to take a moment to thank all of the players who have been providing feedback on these structures and their design details, both through the forums and through the CSM. We've recently updated a lot of the details of the plan and updated the forum thread with those details based on the excellent feedback and excellent insights that you've all provided. And I want to really give a big thank you to all of you who participated in that. Another big set of changes that are coming to New Eden and Ascension are the command bursts. Fleet boosting, off-grid boost is easily the most consistently requested balance change in the 4 years since I've been working on EVE Online that I've been hearing from players.
I'm going to be a space bard.
I'm excited that we're now ready to release this revamp in just 2 weeks. Command bursts replace the existing Warfare Link system for supporting your friends and allies with new area of effect buffs that are no longer tied to fleet hierarchy. This system will mean less overhead for fleet commanders. It means more room for skilled boosting pilots to shine, better counterplay for fighting against enemy boosts, and better feedback so everyone can clearly see what's going on the battlefield. With these command boost changes, we also had the opportunity to revamp and reimagine the role of mining informant ships. After Ascension, all of the mining informant ships will be capable of supporting their allies' mining activities, controlling their own incredibly powerful mining drones, and fighting off threats if they should appear. You're very welcome. The ship on the screen here is the new Porpoise industrial command ship. It's the most affordable and mobile industrial command ship that EVE has ever seen. And we're planning on huge buffs for the existing Orca and Rorqual vessels as well. One big part of these mining foreman ships is the revamp of the entire line of mining drones. We're adding new mining drones, new skills for mining drones, buffing the existing models like the Tech 1 mining drone, and introducing a whole new line of ice harvesting drones as well. OR has also been engaging in some frankly questionable research on captured rogue drone specimens, and the results are the new excavator mining drones.
Again, more lore just sprinkled in here and there.
These excavator drones come in ore mining and ice mining varieties. They're exclusive to the Rorqual, and they're capable of individually exceeding, under some circumstances, the mining yield of a whole exhumer. Close asteroids is the circumstances. Since Rorquals are going to be back in the mining belts, OR has also vastly improved their defensive capabilities. When running their industrial core, the Rorqual will be among the tankiest ships in the game, and it'll even gain the ability to make itself and its entire mining fleet invulnerable for short periods of time with the new Pulse-Activated Nexus of Vulnerability Core, one of my favorite acronyms we've ever been able to add to the game. Ascension also brings one of the most anticipated UI features in the history of EVE from the community. The new fitting window with fitting simulation, formerly known as ghost fitting, is going to allow players to try out different fits and concepts right in the client. This has been a labor of love from a collection of CCP devs who've worked on it as a side project and then got moved into being a main project, and we're really excited to get it out to you.
I'm really glad that he managed to slip in there that it was a side project that got moved into a full project. I also appreciate the fact that he introduced it as a kind of a newer concept. He presented it as if somebody had never seen it before, which is good. And ghost fitting has been something that has been teased about for 2 years. So his comment helps explain the long development time, and those kind of throwaway lines help kind of control the narrative. Now you get to show off how awesome it is.
Third-party development community has been making great out-of-game fitting tools for a long time that are polished and feature-rich, and we're not trying to put them out of a job. We're not trying to replace them, because they will always have a place for power users, for advanced use cases, complex use cases. But in-game fitting is going to be the perfect way to quickly test out fits in the client, see what the difference is in stats if you switch up a module or overheat a module, and we believe it'll be extremely helpful to new players who may not be familiar with all the out-of-game options right away. And we've got a little video to walk you through some of the features of the new fitting window that I'm really excited to show you. So let's say you've got a rifter here. You want to figure out how to fit it. You can open up the fitting simulation up in the top right there, and now you're working with the simulated rifter. On the left, you can browse modules and charges. This also allows you to look through any other ships available and fit a simulation of one of those. But we're going to do the rifter for now, so we go over to hardware, and we can filter through low slot modules, mid-slot modules, high slots, rigs, drones. How many of you guys are old enough to remember Quick Fit? Yeah, we got some bitter vets here. So one of the features I loved about that was the ability to filter on what fits with the resources available left on your ship, power grid and CPU, and we have that with the new fitting window.
I just want to say that if you have not had the joy of trying the new fitting tool, go on Singularity, like now, and go play with it. It's amazing. I don't know a better way for it I mean, it's really, really solid. In fact, I no longer do any fitting anywhere in Tranquility anymore. I always do all of my fit stuff on Singularity and then save it or copy it and then move it over to Tranquility for working on stuff. It is so good. It is so good. Also, you can /alpha and turn yourself into an alpha clone and then go from there. But yeah, I'm so happy for that feature, but we'll talk more about that in a bit.
So let's say we want to fit some turrets. We can explore all of the options for weapons. We can turn on fitting resources, so now it only shows the small turrets because they're the only ones that you can fit onto the ship. You can explore through all of them, look at what it'll affect for the power grid and CPU.
There's also functions as a quick how-to, which is nice.
Let's go with some autocannons here. And as that you double-click on them, they appear on the ship, and you can hover over them to see all the stats. And you'll also be able to load them with ammo to actually see how they'll work in the game. But first, let's go to the medium slots. Let's fit in there. We want to get a prop mod, let ourselves go a bit faster. Browse right through there. This also is going to be a great alternative to the market for just browsing through modules and seeing what's available. We're going to put some shields on there, a shield extender. Let's get ourselves a scrambler so that we can tackle some opponents. There we go. And here we can now look to put some ammo into these guns.
So if I had to complain about anything about the ghost fitting feature, it would be that every time I've tried to complain about it, I end up being wrong. So this might even be wrong, but the alignment thing says it in like 0.0 seconds. I really wish there was some way to indicate. Oh, hey, cool. Somebody just followed me. I don't know who. K3N dog. At any rate, so the relationship of the 1 second tick is so weird. I almost wish that there would be a way to kind of explain that in that detail, like just say alignment 5 seconds, and then when you hover over it, like gives you the exact percentage or the exact number, much like like derivative standings or whatever does. So that way it kind of teaches the person, oh, it is 4.8, but it really is 5. But then again, missiles also kind of function that way too, so whatever.
Go through the whole list of charges in the game, but we really want to see what charges fit into these autocannons. So you can click on the autocannon right at the top there. That'll auto-populate with modules you have fitted. And then pull in some hail. You also have the ability to actually choose favorite ammos as well that you use really often, and those will be at the top of the list. But let's say we want to do a bit of exploring. So we fitted a bit of this Rifter, but we want to go try something different. So we've got a saved Astero fit. We're going to pull that one up, open it up in Ghost Fitting. So this is a fit that we don't have all the skills for, but we're going to load it up anyways and explore it. So even if you don't have the skills to fit a ship, you can still see what the stats are, still actually try it out, and see what you can work towards. So you've got the simulated Astero fit here. This is a ship we don't actually have in our hangar, but we're still exploring the fit. You can go look through all the modules, look at their ranges. You can also activate, overheat, and deactivate the modules and see how the stats change. So you see the navigation down there, you got the speed. This is with the micro drive active, but you can click it and turn it red to overheat it, and you can see the speed increase right there in the fitting window. You can also turn it off. And you can also filter, you see there's the colors when you're in the module mode. And you can also filter based on what you have the skills for as well. So we can switch to that, and you'll see that we don't have the skills right now for the Covert Ops Cloak. But we can show info on it, take a look, what skills we need. And right there in the show info, we have the ability to add it to the queue because we actually already have it injected. You get to buy it right from the market from there otherwise. So now we want to actually buy this ship. So we've integrated multi-buy and multi-fit right into the fitting window. So when we opened up multi-buy there, it showed us there wasn't any Sisters probe launchers available in this station, but we're not fancy, so we're going to switch down to a Tech 1, because we know we got some of those available. Switch out the fit, and then we can go right back to multi-buy. We can see the breakdown of the cost of the ship. And right in multi-buy, we can go ahead and buy everything we need for this ship. We'd be able to buy multiples of it if we want, hence the name multi-buy. Lets us know about prices out of the normal, go ahead and buy it all up. So there we now have all the items, and we can go right to fit ship. We can choose to fit one or multiples. And now, we have a fully fitted Astero.
I mean, let's be real. That's awesome. I mean, that is the culmination of years of features being built into the game in order to make that happen. With multi-buy, multi-fit, now simulation fitting, that happy path of getting players just in freaking ships is so... it's easy now. And that's what needs to happen. The things that get people to the fun stuff needs to be easy to get done. So that people can be happy that they've done it. You know, they can still feel useful, but they don't have to be drudged by hindrance. But it's so good to see them kind of show it all the way through, because it has come in pieces, and so each of these features have their own name, but it really is just one feature. It's just you can now design ships and produce, buy them and put them together at the flick of a wrist, or snap of a finger, however you want to call it, which is awesome. It's great. So it's really nice to see it all come together and have him be able to present it almost like an infomercial. It's just that easy.
Switch on back to the normal fitting window mode, and we can see that the cloak didn't activate because we don't have the skill for it, but everything else is on and ready to go. Beyond the addition of simulated fitting, the new fitting window also adds some of the really heavily requested player features, like improved drone management. You're going to be able to look at all of your drones, choose which ones you want to see active for the DPS. Drone control range displayed right in the UI. And we're displaying effective hit point numbers to using average resist, another one of those little things that players have requested for a long time. Big thank you to everyone who's helped us test this on Sissy, people that have been on Sissy, putting in bug reports, letting us know what we need to polish.
That reminds me, I actually do have one other criticism, but it's more like I really want them to do this. My problem is that in order to drag a module off, you have to, and I probably should put in a report somewhere official and not just talk about it here, but if you want to drag a module off, you have to drag it to the list of modules. You can't just drag it off willy-nilly. I would like to be able to drag it anywhere off the ship and have it removed from the ship. Yeah, there is the skin selection, but I don't think you can save a skin selection to a specific fit. That's a really good point. We'll talk more about skins in a few minutes there, Caleb.
Putting a lot of work in this, especially CCP Carper has been putting a lot of work into this to make sure that it's nice and polished for Ascension, and we're really excited to get into everyone's hands, especially all the hands of the new players. Let's talk a little bit about Tech 3 Destroyers. So 2 years ago, on a stage right over there, here at Vegas, I unveiled the plans for Tech 3 Destroyers, this new ship class that we're going to be introducing the next year, including these pictures of the very early concept art of what became the Confessor and Jackdaw. These ships have been incredibly popular, but of course have also been overpowered in a lot of ways and have needed a few rounds of rebalancing over time. And the next round of this rebalancing is coming in Ascension. So with Ascension,
who's booing Spitball nerfs, really?
Tactical destroyers that tones down the overpowered aspects of these ships and tries to encourage the best elements of them, the decision making in battle. This balance pass has been developed
Find those
with the
people.
aid of a group of player volunteers in the Tactical Destroyer Focus Group, people from all over EVE who have volunteered through the forums. We've had CSM members as part of that as well. And they have been a huge help for this. I want to give them a giant shout out. They've worked tirelessly to help provide us great feedback, great ideas, and really I want to thank them. Focus groups are one of the many ways that you players can get involved in the development of EVE Online. You can provide your insights to us and really help change the direction of EVE development. People that participated in that focus group essentially were able to give us ideas that we decided were the correct ones and that we put into the game. And I think it's a really amazing part of EVE's development that we can work in partnership with you guys, our really passionate players, and get the best ideas and make this game a lot better than it would have been otherwise. So thank you very much for that. So now...
Yeah, Roland says the people who complain about only being able to get kills with their Spitball. I understand that. Find those people, because they need to be clowned on hard.
For some discussion of another one of the great features,
preferably during the pub crawl.
Coming in Ascension, I'm going to pass the mic over to CCP Larrikin.
G'day Vegas. So I'm going to talk a little bit about NPCs in PvE and tell you about...
So before I even let him get into this, this is by far, in my opinion, minus the free-to-play stuff, but like the mechanical changes in the game of all of the things that are coming in Ascension, I think in the next year to 3 years, we're going to talk about this change more than any of the others.
One of the features that are coming out with Ascension. The Empires are mobilizing. Their shipyards are expanding to meet the demand from increased clone production. And those shipyards need minerals. So the mining corporations of New Eden are ramping up. Deepcore Mining Incorporated and Mindrill have both seen a significant increase in their mineral quota from the Caldari Navy, while the Mimitar Mining Corporation has doubled its industrial fleet to meet the demand. These corporations and more will be increasing the number of mining operations they are running, and you will see them spread across the asteroid belts of New Eden. Learning from Capsuleers, they are well organized, with haulers that come and pick up the ore that they actually mine. Now, it's been reported that some of these haulers are carrying valuable strong boxes. I'm just speculating here, but if one were to interdict one of these haulers, say through an act of piracy, you could probably get your hands on some of these strong boxes. These strong boxes can be used by anyone, and they contain a variety of items, rare blueprints, some amazing skins like that bowhead skin you saw, or a really cool Blood Raider skin for your battle rifle. But it's impossible to know what they contain until you actually try and open them. So do you want to take the chance of opening them yourself, or sell them on the market and let someone else take that chance? But I do need to warn you guys, these miners and haulers are a little bit more squirrely than you're used to. If you have low standings to the corporation that's doing the mining, or if you attack them, they will call for backup, and their miners and haulers will try and walk away. And these response forces that come and back them up are based on Capsuleer fleet compositions.
Now that I've heard this a second time, it actually makes me wonder, I hope I didn't understand it wrong the first time. So it could be, that statement could be taken one of two ways. Either A, the composition of the fleet will be like a player composition, which makes sense with the rest of the explanation. But the other way to interpret it, which is how I interpreted it the first time, was that the composition that goes to fight them will control what they bring. Not sure which one of those two statements is true. Both are interesting, but obviously I think that if the encounter scales with what it gets brought in, that potential has more potential, I think, maybe. But maybe having set fleet encounters will make it a little bit more predictable. I don't know. We'll have to see which one of those two statements is true. Hold on. NPCs should be able to activate kill rights on you. Maybe. They do bring Logi and E-War. We'll get. I'll let them keep going. Sorry.
They will bring tacklers that run in and try and grab your critical ships, while their logistics will actually screen themselves behind their DPS and stay back out of the fight, just like you guys might when you fly logistics. And their combat forces will focus fire and anchor on a fleet commander who actually maneuvers the fleet around the battlefield to make sure it stays at optimal range for the weapon systems. Just like your fleet commanders might. The good ones, anyway. They're going to fly the same ships that you fly, with the same roles and the same fittings. You're going to see Ventures and Hulks mining, Armageddons neuting your logistics, and Bursts remote shield boosting. PvP in EVE is incredibly intimidating, but we believe that the skills that you learn fighting NPCs should transfer over to fighting players. If you're fighting an NPC crucifier, it should show you some of the possibilities of a player-flown crucifier. But look,
I know Caleb. Hold on.
With the other game designers at the game design chat tomorrow. If you want to know more, come to that, and I'm going to hand it back to CCP Seagull now.
All right. So let's even begin to unpack some of that. Caleb has been going crazy in the chat, so I guess I could hop on if you want to talk about this briefly. Although I don't want to take too long because I don't want to. I don't want to make a podcast out of it. In fact, actually, let's take a time out on that. Maybe we'll do a podcasty thing afterwards. But any rate, so first of all, procedurally generated AI that has roles and intelligence. That's basically it. That's the solution. That's what we've been working for. That's what the drifters were for. That's what all this stuff was for. And this goes back to what I have said high sec needs to be. It needs to be about engagement and education. And that's where the rewards are. This better MPE, some of the other improvements here and there, in combination with the addition of these highly complex encounters, right, that will enable players to understand what they're getting into without feeling that they're pressured to do it day one, right? People don't want their first time ever flying against a fleet to be against other players necessarily, because even Overwatch has a PvE mode which allows you to just pick on rats, or well, they call them bots, but this allows you to practice fighting something that's right, but it also allows you to kind of see what right looks like as you're frustrated. Maybe your small group can't break their logi because they successfully outmaneuver you, and you can learn from that. So there's so much to the potential of this. But, you know, after this, then there can be convoys with escorts. So then players can actually hire NPCs to move goods. And sure, you can hire NPCs to, you know, you could do it that way, which might be cheaper or whatever. But those things go in real space, and any player can choose to attack one of these convoys if they manage to. And, you know, that would be a giant risk. And so what this does is it teaches players that hiring somebody else to transport something is a thing, but hiring the NPCs to do it sucks. But there's this advertisement on the Jumbotron for Red Frog that says that they move freight. So I wonder if the players can do it any better than the NPCs can. And instantly, you've now led somebody from I know nothing about this game, or I am only playing with myself, to knowing and understanding how to reach out into the player network in order to start making, you know, exchanges with players directly. The other thing that Caleb wants to point out, which is very true, is the same rules, same modules. This is something I've been preaching for a long time, and hopefully it'll be the same. I hope that these new rats have a capacitor, for example. I think that that's really, really important, because you need to teach players the combat tactics. And so if rats follow different rules than the PvP pilots, then it doesn't do any good. One of the reasons why PvE is so kind of unimaginative or not really have very much love in EVE is because it's an entirely different rule set than PvP. So it can be considered even a waste of time, even though some of your gunnery and ship skills do transfer over. The other thing that's really big, and by the way, the last stage in this, if you get really crazy, you could suddenly get into a world in which you have incursions of different empires, and like the Amar could absolutely go to war and make a strike into Minmatar space, and NPC incursions are happening all over the place, and pirates are attacking Glente, and you know, it's the Crimson Harvest actually is an incursion that's going on from the Blood Raiders, and you can go and do different stuff in Blood Raider space than other space, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, all that stuff gets unlocked if this AI works. So you had the Drifter AI, which was really just kind of testing it, and this is the first application of it. And if it works, it could mean a lot. But that's something I've already talked a lot about. There's something more here too, which is interesting, because this is a different way of delivering content than a lot of the things that we have seen before. In most of our PvE content, we have set piece events, right? You warp there, things happen, you know what's going to happen, you do the thing, you get your reward. It doesn't matter if it's exploration combat, mission running, ratting, nullsec combat exploration, wherever you go, that's the thing. You go to the event, and you do the thing. This creates scenarios. There's random flashpoints throughout the world, always. So if you don't do anything with them, then they don't do anything. And they're even talking about working on ways to work with them or help them, or, you know, get positive standings with them for some way. This also does a lot about the whole memory thing, and kind of you can see that they're replacing standings with a new concept. And that's really important too. So they're building this new kind of standing system underneath this current standing system, so that way they could just replace them and flip them out whenever they need to. Like the idea that combat is just scenario based, is director based, is emergent. Is present but emergent, and you don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen at any given time. Hopefully it stays relatively unknown. Hopefully the response isn't always the same. From my understanding, that's the case. I hope to be streaming more on Singularity. In fact, anybody who wants to work with me to help try to deal with these things and test them out, please get a hold of me on Twitter, and we will figure out a time to run on Sissy and maybe stream some attempts at these mining vessels. Let's see, lots of chat I missed, maybe. I hope we can hire miners. Yeah, I mean, maybe. It could be cool. Well, I mean, what if you could ransom them? You know, but there's also one of the interesting things is it does maybe create more gunboat mineral mining. That could be a negative side effect because you could just shoot the miners that have mined and then collect ore. What is my Twitter? My Twitter is just @Ashtarothi. I need to get all those things in my doobly-doo thing below. I know, but yeah, haven't. Working on it. Haven't. All right, and on we go.
Thank you so much, guys, for all of those updates. That's some amazing stuff coming. But there's even more in Ascension. Our graphics team have completely re-engineered the most satisfying part of space friendship, explosions.
Those explosions are pretty
Even the
awesome.
wrecks that they result in look better. And the art presentation here at EVE Vegas will show off way more of this and also talk about how the team did it. So if you're interested in this, just really go to that presentation. We're also revamping the character sheet in a big way and making skills way easier to work with across the whole client. And to gather all of this madness up in one place, we have created a feature tour video. So let's take a look at that.
I'm going to be right back while this is playing. All right, so once again, at the end of this segment, this is now wrapping up. This is an interesting transition in the presentation because this is now wrapping up what we know, right? So this is the cool things that we know is Ascension. But you know, if you spoilers, there's a little bit more that they get to announce. But that trailer, as I said earlier, the function of this keynote really needed to solve the problem that Ascension didn't feel like a cohesive expansion, right? So the most important thing about this presentation was to make Ascension feel like a full thing. And so all of this explanation has been a highlight of the big pieces with the big hitters and all that stuff, almost as with preview level hype, as if it was like the first time showing these things. And then ultimately culminating in this video that wraps it all up together to get into people's minds to think this is one thing, this is an expansion. But we still get another video too.
All right, and then I have some news about ship skins in Ascension. So way back in 2014,
This game, you're not ready for it.
way back in 2014 at FanFest, we showed you some of this super early research development that we were doing to create
Again, not my audio problem.
ship skins by projecting patterns onto our ships.
Oh, there's not just one more thing.
And at the time, our assets across the game were not actually ready for us to use this in the game across all the ships. But in the last 2 years, we have done an extensive set of renovations to all of our ships. And now we can finally start bringing skins to you that are based on this technology. So we're gonna start small, but you'll see more and more skins that use the potential of this technology in the future. So let's take a look at some of the first skins that will use this technology. Let me introduce you to the Star Captain skin for the Confessor.
Chinese skins eat your heart out. My only regret is that I need to keep my white Confessor. Yeah.
We thought it was a good fit for the occasion to reveal this here at EVE Vegas. And this skin will be available with the launch of Ascension. But this new technology also makes it way more feasible for us to do skins that cross over the racial hull boundaries. And I'm going to show you some 2 examples of skins that we will release soon after Ascension, so not on launch day, but pretty soon after. So here's a red version. And here's a blue version. And as you can see, these are skins that can bring the same style to a whole fleet. And we'll be exploring that potential even.
So what's interesting is that a lot of these things, if you look, the 3 ships that are showcased here are Mimitar and Galente, which are some of the worst represented skin ships in the game. And one of the reasons why is because the default skins don't really look good on Mimitar and Caldari or Mimitar or Galente ships. More Galente, but not even either, because they don't really have very many good highlights in the same classic way. So you don't get like the really bold colors that you do in the Amar, and you don't have some of the really stunning skins that you get on the Caldari. Actually, well, I mean with like the stripes and other visually interesting things. Anywho. So they're showing not only new skins, but also the potential for the other races. And also kind of showing off why Amar would be the most loved up until now, because the big flat skins for, or panels for the Amar really cater to skins a lot, the old skin system.
Even more in the future, because we think that you might have a use case or 2 for that.
Yeah, she also talks about, she just talked about Alliance and potentially, you know, that kind of skins and stuff. What I would like to see, and I'm just going to say it right now, what I would like to see is a Corp skin that costs a certain amount, and players can pool it together to get the one skin. But basically what I'd like to see is the ability to purchase a customized blueprint for Aurum, and then to be able to publish licenses out indefinitely, much like copying a blueprint. So you pay Aurum for an original, and then from there you can give out skins, so that way corporations can give it to their corporation, alliances can give it to their alliance, and streamers could give it to their streams, you know, whatever. This concept of like the copyable skin. That's what I would like to see if they were going to do custom stuff. One of the reasons why you're going to need to see a big buy-in is because, you know, if you're going to require any amount of policing or monitoring or verifying that the skins are able to be used and aren't giant penises or whatever, the more customization there is, the more it's probably going to have to cost something to prevent people from just being idiots.
We also really want to celebrate both the Ascension expansion and that we are bringing out the first of this new type of skin. So with the expansion, we're going to take all of the ship skins that we have in the store now and do a massive sale. So I'm going to show you a few examples of what kind of prices that you'll.
Do you hear that? That is the sound of Aurum traders weeping. The only thing about it is that skins are kind of usable things. So most of the traders, I believe, use clothing. So hopefully not too many people are that angry. But I don't know. But out with the old, in with the new. So now you're gonna have low level, like 30 cent, 40 cent for these crap skins that we've been holding on to for the last 2 years. And then these new awesome skins are going to go to that $5 to $15 price range. Or, you know, potentially even a full Plex or more.
See? Here. So these are just 4 examples. All these and all of the other skins in the store are going to come way down in price in celebration of Ascension. And speaking of a store, another thing that is coming together at the Ascension launch is that we are finally able to launch an online store for EVE merchandise.
At this point, I told the story earlier, but I was going to get the Tears mug or jar last year, and I didn't because they told me that the store was going to be out by Christmas, and so I decided to be smart or be frugal and save my money. And I was totally betrayed by that, and I've been really bitter and sad. And so the fact that this is coming back exactly a year later, you know what? Great. Look, they've got the How Do I Warp to Something t-shirt, and I can see it right there. There's the Tears, the bottom left corner is the Tears glass and shirt. So it is about damn time, dude. Like, we cannot consider ourselves a real boy as a game company, or, you know, as a gaming community, as a game, you know, I consider us all kind of together. We have graduated. We can be a real boy. We have a merch store that is functional and interesting and probably has some okay price stuff. That's awesome. Caleb says open the store, or door, not open the store. Yeah, well, you know,
Journey for us.
this is a big one.
But now we have found a proper way to do this with our partner DPI, who have actually been doing the
My thermal, I
store
love
with
my
us
thermal
here
coffee
at
mug
Vegas
so
for the last 2
much.
years. And they will also provide
No,
an online
no, no,
store
no.
for you.
They have
With
never had a
CCP made
functional
designs, the
merch
same
store.
stuff that
They've,
you've been
like,
buying
even
here.
at their best of
And
days,
will
they had
open
they had
on
these
November
really
15th.
expensive resin statues and super expensive like jackets and stuff. Nothing that was just like, I get a T-shirt, I get a keychain thing.
So DPI
Nothing.
are based
They've
here
never
in
really
the
been good
US,
about that.
So shipping is still a challenge for some parts of the world in terms of price and availability, and this is something that we will try our very best to improve on as we go along. We really want as many as possible of you to be able to get your hands on some of this stuff at sensible prices.
The winner chicken dinner is if you can RMT your shit and spend Aurum to get credit for the EVE store. That probably is a horrible idea, but it's funny.
We'll also be adding new products over time, very much based on what you guys were asked for. So, not what you asked for right now, but but check this out when it launches in about 2 weeks, and I really hope you find something you like. All right. And then we have some news on the EVE mobile app. So at FanFest this year, we showed you our plans for an EVE Online mobile companion app. It's called EVE Online Portal, and I'm proud to announce that we are making the first version of it available on both Android and iOS, like we said at FanFest, on November 15th. And as you can see here in the little capture, the app brings you character information, in-game notifications, EVE Mail, the EVE Calendar, and the ability to get game time, Plex, and Aura. And we really hope that this will become a useful tool for staying in touch with EVE Online and also for reaching your fellow players on the go. This is the first step, and we'll of course be listening to you when it comes to future development. So try this out when it launches and help us make this a really great tool for you guys.
Two things that I want from a mobile app that is not in this app. One, in-game chat. Two, PI. But good first start. In-game mail, calendars. The thing is that we have to use so many different external tools right now because the internal tools are non-functional if you're going to be managing a corporation or something like that nonstop. This allows me to basically actually change over to using the in-game calendar pretty much exclusively, using in-game mail to post out messages to people and to communicate with people, because I don't have to worry about refreshing the EveGate website in order to get my notifications. I have not gotten offers to beta test it. I do know that I'm going to be one of the most banged up testers that I can find for it because I'm going to do everything I can to help out.
Can you shoot me a link on
Sorry about that. My wife came in asking because somebody wants a trial account. Well, there's a new offer for trial accounts, which is kind of cool. So actually, he might want to wait till the 15th, but we'll talk afterwards. All right. So speaking of which, totally grinding up all of my training alts. I warned people that this was my only guaranteed choice. I wasn't saying that this is going to be the best way to do things, but all of the alpha clones that I made at the 21-day mark, first of all, they extended it, so whatever. And second of all, 250,000 free SP, so screw that. I'm going to grind them all up. Any rate, back to this app. It's just another case of us being a real boy, right? Like, the alpha clones are going to need this shit. And it's going to help bond them to the game and really help them integrate into it like they need to. College students, anybody, that wants to show off their stuff, it's, having these kind of armory type apps, really cool.
Okay.
But PI,
To prepare
for real.
Ascension,
Like, for
we're
real.
also making some changes to the program that we have in place to support recruiting into EVE Online. So the current recruit program lets you invite other players to EVE Online, either through email or through a link that you create and that you can put publicly on your blog or on your stream or on your videos on YouTube, for example.
I guess I just spoiled this, but whatever.
They get an extended trial period in the current system, and the person who had the link, if a recruitee becomes a subscriber, then you get a reward in terms of Plex or game time. And for the recruiter, we're going to keep things exactly the same, but for the recruitee, the person that's coming in, the benefit of extra trial days obviously doesn't make so much sense anymore in the new world of free alpha clones. So instead of extra trial days, we are going to equip the new recruit with some extra starting skill points, 250,000 to be exact. And we think this is a good way because this should help anyone who is recruiting to get their friend into something specific to go on some adventures together. So you could recommend a training plan and they could put some extra skill points towards that. And these skill points will go straight into the unallocated pool of the character that the recruitee chooses to redeem them to. And this change will go into effect with Ascension on November 15th. And all the current recruitment links that you might have out there, they will just keep working. So you don't have to do anything if you have one of these deployed somewhere. All right. And we're actually also looking at extending this same recruitment program to corporations later this year.
This is incredible.
So, to explain what it is that we want to do is to let corporations, not just individuals, corporations who are willing to recruit brand new players, we would let them create a special recruitment link. And this link would go to a web page which has your corporation information on it. And anyone coming through and signing up through that route, they would get both these extra starting skill points, but they would also have an application created automatically for them, for the first character they create, into your corporation. Then you would still have to approve that they get in, so you still control who goes into your corp or not. But in this way, if your corporation is really great at recruiting, you also get the rewards to the corporation.
So let's talk about that. So that means I can, as CEO of Aderon Robotics, the premier corporation for Galente Alpha clones, I can build a special, stylized to our corporation branded website link that I can give to people, or put on business cards, or put it in schools or whatever. Or if I, even not even just me, like if I wanted to create a college or a school corporation, I could literally give people that connection right there, and anybody who uses that link gets directly connected into our corporation. And that could work with like changing medical clones. They could tie, because that link is built, they can tie in that into anything. And since the most important thing about getting a new player into the game is getting them into a player corporation, to have them already started in that path is the no-brainer. The problem that I have a lot is that trying to explain to new players that no, don't go do your, it's not just don't go do your own thing. Come do my stuff. You can come do my stuff like right now. And this helps reinforce that. I'm going to be posting that. Once we have it, that's going to be on my stream all over the place. That's going to be my link, because and of course the rewards are still going to be every single person you get to transfer to an Omega clone, hopefully not just within the 21 days, but if they ever become a Omega clone, poof, you get a free Plex. That's awesome.
And so we'll be rolling this out as soon as we can after Ascension at some point later this year, this addition to the recruitment program. We are just really so excited to bring this expansion to you. Everyone in the EVE team, everyone in CCP, we just cannot wait to ship this. And to show...
The other thing that this does, I'm sorry, but the other really cool thing that this does is it allows people to give links that are tied to good organizations. There's always been this real struggle with CCP because they want to guide people to new player-friendly organizations, but that's a hard thing to do. But here, the successful ones will get their name out there and will, recruit for new players. So, there's been wanting to work with EVE Uni in the past, but risks of favoritism. This allows the system to be available for everyone, which removes those problems and really addresses this puzzle in a way that I deeply respect.
The depth and beauty of EVE Online, we have created a new EVE trailer.
This game, you're not ready for it.
You're in the middle of this beautiful sci-fi environment, and you're seeing intrigue, the espionage, the alliances form, the power that shifts around, and it's amazing to watch.
Simple actions can have massive effects.
You can cooperate with people, compete with them, make friendships, deceive them, betray them.
just other players.
More players start coming. It just starts this complete cascade of actions, and you don't know what's going to happen.
It is a free-for-all. People get locked up and shot instantly. People start dying left, right, and centre. It's just something that you can't get anywhere else. It's just the rush like no other.
Everybody's on this journey and writing their own stories, and that is probably the simplest way I can describe it.
Things continue to change and evolve. It's awesome. I love it. Part of EVE.
All right, before I jump into this trailer, I just want to say that while it was happening, my wife asked me whether or not my voice was going to come up, and then like asked me whether or not it did afterwards, and I was like, yeah, I don't think they would do that again. Like, she's like, what, they didn't use your voice? And I was like, yeah, but they already did me, so I didn't have a problem with it. But no, they got some really good voice guys, you know, some big pillar names of the community. For those of you who do not know, all of those were actual sound clips from actual people, including Caleb wants to keep talking about Tiberius Stargazer, who was one of the people, but also Sindel Pellion. I might have recognized Bam's voice in there. I'm not 100% sure. But, you know, it's really cool because the thing about this trailer is that this part of the presentation wasn't for us. When did they use my voice? They used my voice for the Emergent Threats trailer. So, anywho, they used audio from our lore panel, from our first lore panel. So, but this is what's cool about that is that this takes a lot of the things about this is EVE, but this trailer's audience is clearly not us. This is a trailer for the free-to-play MMO. This is what gets played on all of the media websites. This is what gets played as a trailer, as a pre-roll before YouTube videos, right? This is what's good. This right here is the message to the public, and the cool thing about it is you know, in-game graphics, in-game voice. It has the juxtaposition of player advocacy and you know, the normal standard like journalistic praise and accolades. I think it came together very, very well. Thanks, Poison Popcorn. Some people said that it was too slow. I personally think it was actually really good to kind of keep it at that solid rate, because there's a promise of a bigger thing, but it never quite gets to the promise in that video, which is good because that promise actually pays off not in this video, but at the end of the Inception NPE, right? So the journey that gets taken, the seeds that get planted in this video are rewarded at the end of the MPE, which that is pretty cool.
Should we see it again?
Oh yeah, and they just show the trailer a couple of times, and then they basically wrap it up, and that's it. That's it for all the announcements, the trailer's the last thing. So that's it. That's pretty much the entire keynote. And as you can see, it was more or less a journey. It was kind of like getting us on board on the major features, wrapping up, you know, going through all of the other features to kind of put things into context for each person, for everybody, you know, how everything is going to piece together for Ascension, and then kind of wrapping up everything we know, and then highlighting those new special things, the market and the store, or the store and the app. The one thing that gets me kind of confused is the fact that Torfy wasn't the one that did the presentation for like the app and the other stuff, or the online store in particular. He's really, like, he's usually the big man when it comes to talking about the marketing and stuff. It's hard to say why. I think that there's already so much going on that one more change of people wouldn't have worked, and they wanted Siegel to wrap it up, so Siegel just had to take that part too. There's no reason to necessarily read anything into it, but I think it was an interesting thing to have happen. Other than that, oh yeah, there's a new Permaband song. All right, we'll enjoy the new Permaband song. Let me jump to that.
I think 2 times is okay for now. We believe that Ascension will bring new energy to all of EVE Online, and we're super excited to continue to make EVE Online the deepest, most beautiful space sandbox in the world. That's it from us today in the EVE Online team. But before we go into the party night here at EVE Vegas, I think we need a little something to
The
get us
Porpoise and the
started.
Senescus are the
CCP
only
Gar,
two
was
new
there
ships coming
something you
in
wanted to show us?
November.
Hey. I just want to give some love first to these wonderful people I work with that make amazing things. I'm lucky to work with them. They're awesome. I want to tell you about an idea, but first I want to check, is anyone in here familiar with the permaband? Well, it makes sense.
For those of you who are not familiar, Permaband is
has its own gaming company.
Permaband is the band of developers and, staff at CCP. They have their own band and they make fun music.
So we had this idea after last EVE Vegas. We had so much fun, and we were looking so much forward to coming to this one that we wanted to bring something with us, something for you. A party song inspired by the awesomeness we get from you to get you ready to party for 2 more days. That would have been awesome if we'd made that, so. But of course we did. So I just want to give a shout out to my friends in the Permaband and the devs and the players that helped us make the song and the video, and hope you like it.
I can just imagine the design meeting of this. Quick, get all the girls and the staff. We need all of them. Oh, we only have 3. We only got 3. Okay. The sync, yeah, the sync is terrible on the stream side. I will give like 2 plex to the first person that gets this played as like a request at some prom or something. I know that there's there's lots of females working at CCP. It was a joke. Heck, CCP Carker wasn't even in it. Or Puncturus.
we'll be at the shadow party tomorrow, so see you there.
I sincerely believe that Puncturus is not in it solely because of scheduling or something, because it just seems like the kind of thing that she might be okay with doing. And same with Crocker, but who knows? Yeah, hashtag get Crocker to Vegas. Didn't she get to Vegas eventually? Like, was that successful? I don't know. But either way, that about wraps it up for this. It's getting kind of late for right now, and I want to do more tomorrow. And my wife, and I can hear my wife trying trying hard to keep my son under control. So I'm going to go help reinforce her there. You would open it. Fishbone says if he was still DJing, he'd open up every show with that. Yes, awesome, exactly. Well, you've got to, as a DJ, you've got to have that one really weird, totally obscure thing, and then just play it and just see if people try to dance with it. It'd be great. No context or anything. At any rate, if you like what I do, I've been really working on taking this to the next level. Hopefully you can see that if you follow me now, like there's follow notifications and there's even like tip donation notifications. Not that that has happened or anything, but theoretically speaking, it works. I've got my Twitter at Ashtarothi. Follow me here. Follow me on YouTube. I'm Ashtarothi there too. I'm going to be trying to build, put out more and more content for you guys and try to, help put EVE into context as well as other things with video games, programming, and other forms of entertainment. So if you like what I do, go ahead and keep checking it out. Keep supporting me, and I will continue to do it because huzzah, I love doing it. I will definitely pass on my hellos to Mrs. Ash and Minnie Ash. And that thing seems to be about it. Thanks, Iceman, for doing that. For following me. I will conclude by playing the Permaband. Actually, Permaband or trailer? Which one should I play to close out? I'll let you guys, whatever the first thing somebody says. I'm not even going to go for a vote. Hey, there's a lot of people following. Thanks. Apparently, I did a good job. Awesome. Well, hopefully I will continue to earn your following. And then who knows? Maybe someday people can subscribe and I can do things with that. That would be pretty cool. Trailer. Okay, first person said trailer, so I'm going to find the trailer. This might be it.
We need a little something to get us started. CCP guard, was there something you wanted to show us?
Nope, not quite.
This game, you're not ready for it.
What is that thing? Is that a drilling platform? Was that us being teased, the drilling platforms? We'll probably hear more about that tomorrow.
You're in the middle of this beautiful sci-fi environment. And you're seeing intrigue, the espionage, the alliances form. The power that just shifts around. It's amazing to watch.
Simple actions can have massive effects.
Sorry, Caleb has scolded me. We're gonna do this.
This game, you're not ready for it.
You're in the middle of this beautiful sci-fi environment. And you're seeing intrigue, the espionage, the alliances form. The power that just shifts around. It's amazing to watch.
Vipers is primary, Julia is secondary. Simple actions can have massive effects.
You can cooperate with people, compete with them, make friendships, deceive them, betray them.
It's amazing
amazing to think that it's all just other players.
More players start coming. It just starts this complete cascade of actions, and you don't know what's going to happen.
It is a free-for-all. We'll get locked up and shot instantly. People start dying left, right, and center. It's just something that you can't get anywhere else. It's just the rush like no other.
All good things happen. Everybody's on this journey and writing their own stories, and that is probably the simplest way I can describe EVE.
Things continue to change and evolve. It's awesome. I love it. Part of EVE.
So, once again, thank you all for watching. I do want to say a couple things. One, I want to organize a movie night so we can watch Clarion Call or Clear Skies or something like that and talk about that and have a good time. I'm going to be streaming more Crimson Harvest. I did have some fun with Skyrim, and I've been working a little bit to figure out how to make that better and not choppy. So I've figured out how to make it not garbage, and I've also figured out OBS Studio, so able to do even better stuff. But I do want to mostly focus on EVE. I've still got some EVE coding to come up, working with the API, and I have some other projects that I'm whispering about that haven't quite come to fruition, so there's plenty of more stuff coming. Please continue to watch throughout the weekend as I will talk about what's going on and try to put it into context for the larger community. And as always, thank you for watching, my fellow Empyreans, and I will see you in space.